Hey guys, so I am here in Toronto with fellow YouTuber Brave the World, and I actually used to watch her videos when I was in university, long before I did any of this crazy stuff I do now. But since then, you've kind of pulled back from the YouTube world, and you're more focused on your family, your community, your life, and I think that's something that is really inspiring to someone like me who grew up in this crazy modern progressive world. It's difficult to get relationships, it's difficult to have a community, yet you managed to do that despite also growing up in Canada under the same indoctrination as the rest of us. What advice would you give to people who want to pursue that, and why did you choose to do that?
I've always known what I wanted. So ever since I was a little girl, I have these recollections of speaking to my little neighbors that I used to play with. And one in particular was a girl that lived next door to me. And I was 7 years old, maybe 8 years old. And I was talking about how I want kids and how I'm excited to have babies when I'm older. And she's like, I never want to have kids. I'm too selfish. I'm like, where does a 7-year-old get ideas like that? I was completely shocked that someone had that kind of worldview. And then as I was growing up in Canada, I realized that most of my peers felt that way. And 90% of my friends from university and high school do not ever intend on getting married, or that's what they think they feel. The advice, I don't know where to start.
Let me ask you quickly. In university, I was always compelled to not want to get married, to be a career woman. And it was only after looking into the research and also my own personal feelings moving towards wanting to have a family that I kind of changed my mind on that. Did you ever get sucked into the college indoctrination when you went to university here in Canada?
Oh, God. Yeah. Everyone around me had that vision for themselves of having some sort of career path, but most of their careers weren't even that interesting. Like it never took a hold of me because I never met women that were actually happy in their workplace or happy pursuing those goals. Like when my mom was forced to work in this country, it was really stressful for her. She did not love it. My mom was a traditional stay-at-home mother in a small community in Russia. And I'm not saying that that is a perfect world, but my personal experience and looking at my family, it never was appealing to me. I've always wanted to achieve things, but at the end of the day, I knew that I'm going to stop at some point and I'm going to have a family because that's what's important. And there's this term that's thrown around, traditionalism, right? Like trad life. And all that means is, this is how I like to quantify it. You look back to your ancestors as far as you can, grandma, great-grandmother, etc. You're here because of their success. And what is their success? Giving birth to children and having a family, because you wouldn't be here. So obviously your ancestors were successful. And now here's the boomers and the millennials, like the first generations who were consciously thinking about not doing that and not having a family and focusing on career and not getting married. And I've met some people that chose that path in life, and I don't have any jealousy towards their lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting and depressing at the same time how ignorant our culture is of the statistics. They look at this and they say it's unfair to say women should just be mothers. And I agree, women can do all sorts of things. I've certainly done a lot of crazy stuff with my life, but we're becoming more aware of the fact that when you look at the hard data, most women are happier in motherhood roles. Most women are happier when they have kids.
It's not just mothers. Like that phrasing you use, right? That is the phrasing that people are told to use, right? Just a mother. You're just a mother. You're just a stay-at-home wife. Where's the just? Like, it is a job. It is a serious job. It is a human life that you have in your hands. It is a mind that you have to nourish and raise up in this really difficult world. Where's the just? I'm sorry, but like the woman that goes and works at the mall or like the clerk for the law office, that's just the job. You end that job at 6 and you go home and you watch Netflix or you read a book. That's just. Having a child never ends. It's the most stressful and the most weighing thing you could ever introduce into your life.
Fascinating. Yeah, it's been said that although certainly mothers and fathers have higher highs and lower lows, they find more meaning and more depth in their life and what they do. And that's fascinating that you say, that I say, just a mother, because I've certainly been taught to think of it that way. Feminists have gotten rid of the idea of femininity and motherhood being a beautiful, wonderful thing, whereas historically it was so worshipped. All our artwork, our religious texts, they all put the idea of creating life on a pedestal. So when feminists say they are fighting for women's rights, why do they do it in a way where they want us to be more masculine?
Well, I mean, my advice is look at different feminists. If you have the inclination to be a feminist, read Mary Wollstonecraft. She was one of the mothers of feminism, and she put the priority of female knowledge in raising a child to be intelligent. And she prioritized girls because in that time girls were less likely to get an education. But that, she never said motherhood is stupid, don't be a mom. Like, her feminism revolved around being a good mother. And I don't see why the two things have become such opposites. They really don't have to be. And I really think modern feminism has completely betrayed women because, so you have to have a job now. So you have to do dual income. That's also part of the life we live in the economy of our times. But yeah, you got to go get a job, and you got to have the kids, and you got to clean the house, and you got to cook the food. Where's our feminism? Where I'm not liberated. I'm restrained by all the extra things I'm expected to do now. Like, I don't get it. I don't get what you guys want.
Yeah, there are some theories that even say the government wanted to just double the tax base. So they told women, you know, it would be great working in a factory. Like, that's sometimes the idea of liberation and having more freedom doesn't necessarily mean it's fun. Even Marxism talks about this. I know people hate Marx, but that doesn't mean he didn't have some interesting anecdotes. He said, people, why do you want to liberate women to have to be in just as much slavery as men? Men don't want to go work 8 hours a day and be away from their children.
Ironically, the Soviet Union was the first to really equalize the sexes. They sent women to the front lines. Women were fighter pilots. Abortion was hugely, hugely accepted and pushed as part of women's equality in the country. Interesting.
Now, you found a man who you respected enough to be the father of your child. When girls have been given such a bizarre definition of what masculinity and what femininity is, and when Cosmo is telling them to just take a guy home and have one night stands, how do you find someone like that?
Okay, I'll lay it down. First of all, no actual woman wants to be in charge over the entirety of their relationship, okay? Mm-hmm. And when they are in charge, they cheat on the man, they leave the man, they disrespect the man. I'm a woman with a very strong character, a very strong personality. In Russia, we have this term called podkabluchnik. It means a man who lives under the heel of his woman. And if I dated some random guy, he would be a podkabluchnik because that's how I am. I needed a guy who knew how to keep me in my lane. And I don't mean that as an oppressive thing. I mean that as a, Julia, slow down. I have my thing and you have your thing. And we're a partnership, but you can't talk to me like this. Or I'm not going to always listen to you on these matters. And if I would suggest to most women to find a man who obviously respects you and your opinions and you as a person, but who also has his lane and knows when you're stepping out of your own. Because a household is about balance. You can't have someone, it's like a workplace. Do you want someone hovering over your desk saying, oh, you should be doing that instead? No, it's my job, stick to your job. So that creates a lot of harmony in the household when you have those default roles to go back to. And you work with your biology. Like, men and women are different and they have strengths and weaknesses. So work with your biology, not against it because of your ego. Your ego is not your friend in a relationship.
Yeah, it's fascinating that you say we need to work within our biology. Like, even in New Zealand, they did a study showing that if a man does the more masculine chores like taking out the garbage and a woman does the more feminine chores like making dinner and doing the laundry, they have a more harmonious sex life. So this works with statistics. This works with your brain. And if we don't just deny the reality of our psychological differences, we can use it to our advantage to have happier relationships. Now, to a different topic, not so happy relationships. What are the biggest red flags you would tell young women to look for when they are dating and trying to find a husband?
Sure, I can do both men and women.
Yeah.
There's signaling, right? Everyone signals their true self when they are dating or getting to know each other. And for women, I know a lot of guys maybe in the comments will say that this is superficial, but it's really not, because it's a basic signal. If a man is interested in a woman and he asks her out and he wants to court her and he can't pay for her fucking coffee, I would never go out with that person ever again. To me, that signals that you're either completely broke, you either don't actually like me enough to show me that you're not broke, and it doesn't signal that you are a provider. A woman needs to know that you are a provider. If you want a trad wife, like you want a woman that stays at home and focuses on her kids, then you need to let her know that she can do that. How is she going to do that if you can't even pay for her coffee? Mm-hmm. Also, women, I would like to emphasize kindness. I think kindness is not really spoken about a lot. Like yes, of course you want him to be masculine and alpha, and like these terms are thrown around. You want him to be kind, because a kind man will be kind to you, will be kind to your children. You want a kind father who can also be an authority figure and be a patriarch in the household. But kindness is on the same level as that. I think that's vital. For men, see how your woman acts around kids. See what her family is like. See who her mother is, who your father is. And of course, I actually have so many friends who come from bad homes and they've learned and grown so much from that. So don't judge people just on their family, but it can give you a lot of cues as to what kind of mother and wife she will be. And also, if you are thinking about the red flags while you're dating someone, there's probably red flags. Relationships aren't easy, and obviously no one is ideal and perfect, and there will be issues. So pick someone who who it's worthwhile with to work through those issues. And if that person isn't kind and isn't willing to take care of you and isn't willing to grow with you, then working through those red flags, whatever they may be, isn't worthwhile anymore.
Mm-hmm. You have to be able to have a reasonable conversation with them. There has to be the capacity to have a debate and work through things. If someone is too stubborn to talk to you, it's not going to work.
Yeah. So you don't I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people think you need to be with someone with the exact same views as you and the same political views and religion, philosophy, and idea. No, you have to have this someone with the same world vision. So long-term vision for you and your family, as long as that aligns, it doesn't actually matter if your politics are completely different, because people have approaches to life outside of their politics that can merge very well together. As long as their ethical vision and their practical vision for their life together is the same, you're golden.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's not an easy thing. This is what I always try to reiterate to people who watch me. We are going to fail. We are not going to get this right. All of us have grown up in this progressive hellhole where we have been told all of the wrong advice about how to behave around the opposite gender, where we've been told all of these lies about how relationships work, and we're going to fail. We're going to make mistakes, and it's about trying to do the best you can and learning from your mistakes, not repeating them. So I like that you pointed out the fact that it's not just women that should be this hashtag trad life. And it's not, no one should have to do that. It's a choice. But men, if you want someone who is more traditional and wants a family, you have to step up to that role as well, yeah. Vice versa.
Can you build the deck? Can you fix your toilet? Do you know how to grow crops? I mean, I don't want to be too extreme, but men with basic life skills are really hot. And for men I know not everyone can provide a beautiful home in the countryside for their woman, but I actually I'll do a little personal take on this. I had the opportunity, and I have dated very, very wealthy established men, and I didn't stay with any of them because they actually led with their money too much, and it wasn't fun. I wasn't growing with them. And the person I ended up with was pretty poor at the time we met, but because he was so masculine and motivated and we got along so well, and you just know when you meet someone, trust that feeling, you just know. that's a better gamble than to be with someone who you don't quite feel right with.
Well, it's interesting. You were telling me, what was it? We were talking about if a guy doesn't pay on the first date and if he doesn't have enough money, and you were like, actually, if he doesn't have much money and he pays for the meal, that's more attractive.
It's way hotter. Yeah, like he was like pretty broke. He just graduated from university and was just like dead broke. And he took me out. It wasn't even an issue. And after I found out how broke he was, it was like, wow, he really likes me. That's really sweet.
He really wanted to make it happen. He really wanted to make it work and would work hard to have a family. And that's a good signal.
Yeah, and more important than that, he wanted to see me. He made an effort to come actually physically see me. So if you don't have a lot of money, but you can still signal in other ways to the woman that I will take care of you. I will be there for you because you're physically there. You're showing up. Like, don't have the girl go to your place don't do that. That's not attractive. That just shows the girl that you're lazy. You're like not even willing to get off your couch.
Yeah, both sides. There are so many things you can do to signal femininity and that you're a caretaker, making a guy dinner. So many things you can do to signal that you are a man who will be there and be a patriarch, showing up, paying for the meal, I find it really attractive when guys grab me and put me on the other side of the road, like away from the cars. I love that stuff. And that's like so simple. It's so easy. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have this extravagant lessons in dating. I know guys and girls go to all these dating conferences. It's the small things.
Mine opens the car door for me and makes sure I don't hit the top of the car. Like puts his hand on my head, and it's and it's not like you're too stupid to get in the car by yourself. No, it's so chivalrous. It's so beautiful and makes me feel like such a little girl.
And this shouldn't be considered this obscure hashtag trad life dating part of the internet. This should be normal dating. This is what dating was like for ages and ages. This is how women and men engaged. And I think we can relearn these things. I don't think it's out of our grasp. I don't think it's left to crazy right-wing sects of the internet. I think liberals should date like this too, and we'd all be a lot happier.
I know a lot of liberals that do date like this.
Yeah.
So it's separate from politics a lot of the time because people are still human and it's so ingrained in us. And I mean, look at the pickup movement. They use evolutionary psychology to pick up women, but they're exploiting the same things that women also use to pick men and men used to pick women naturally. All of this stuff is so deeply ingrained. I'm not that worried that it's lost. It's just maybe 2 generations that have neglected these very natural human qualities that we should bring back.
So in conclusion, the family isn't dead yet. There's still hope for it. It's still in our natural biology.
If I have to do it myself, Laura, and I will. I'm here, guys.
You've already done it yourself.
Yeah, I need more.
You are living proof. You're living proof that it is totally possible in this modern world to overcome the propaganda that we've been told, to stay alone forever, to just live in the hookup culture. You can have a family. You can do it all.
Have babies. It's like having a best friend that never stops calling. It's really nice.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for joining me. Brave the World, go and check out her channel. It'll be in the link below. I'll see you guys next time.